House Appropriations Subcommittee of Higher Education together. Calling to order. Clerk will please open the roll. We have a quorum. Thank you, committee members. We'll turn it over to our analyst, Mr. Maggio.
Madam Chair, the first bill is House Bill 287, Delegate Simon's bill. And I know that there are some line amendments that she has
Oh, I'm sorry. I move the amendments.
Second.
Yeah, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, the line amendments have been voted on, and now Mr. Maggio.
So what the bill does is it makes any non-Virginia student who is a member of or citizen of a federally recognized tribe and enrolled in an undergraduate degree program eligible for in-state tuition. The bill also allows the governing boards to charge in-state tuition to those students that are in graduate programs or first professional programs. Further, what the bill does is that under that code section is that it would provide for those individuals to then be recognized in terms of enrollment as in-state students.
Thank you. Any questions from members of the committee?
Madam Chair, I do have a question. I'm looking at I just wonder if Tony could highlight what the potential fiscal impact is on an annualized basis, because I know that we've been trying to get a grip on just what the scope of this could be. So I just wanted to see if he could share that with everyone.
So there are a couple of different things here. On the revenue side of this, on the dollars that the institutions generate, the average difference for an in-state tuition on the undergraduate side and out-of-state tuition is about $20,000 for each undergraduate student. On the graduate side, it's about a $15,000 difference. There was a survey apparently that was done that indicated that there would be about 80 individuals who would be eligible, although again, that is sort of indeterminate, but based on the non-general fund side, on the revenue loss side, at 80 students a year, that's about $1.6 million of revenue loss that the institutions would theoretically have to make up through charging other students. On the part of it where the students are now considered in-state students, now that adds the issue of having to provide for the general fund subsidy for those students, which on average is about $8,500, $8,500. And potentially also it would add for the eligibility on state financial aid, which might add about another $1,500 per student. So again, roughly speaking, about $10,000 a student. That's going to put the general fund impact on an annual basis close to $1 million, and over 4 years, potentially about a $4 million general fund impact. All told, potentially over 4 years, about a $10 million impact.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Tony.
Anyone else? Any other questions? Anyone in the audience to speak in favor of 287?
Madam Chair, members of the committee, Deborah Rodman, on behalf of the Nansemond Indian Nation and the Rappahannock Indian Tribe. I just want to clarify, when we did this survey, 80, potential age that would be going to college. On average, tribal citizens have a very low rate of actually going to college. It's probably more like 20, even if they choose to go to Virginia. So that's a really indeterminate number in terms of who would actually take this opportunity. This really is, I'm sure you know the history, and we'll have others to speak to the history as soon as they get here, that in terms that the tribal nation members, many of them who they're think about it, they are tribal citizens of sovereign nations based in Virginia, but for historical reasons went to Pennsylvania, Philadelphia. And because they couldn't have access to education, period. So this is an opportunity to just give them a chance to come here. So we think the numbers are very low, and we know that this is just, they are, the fiscal impact shows, and we haven't had any opposition from the higher ed because they realize that they can absorb this in-state tuition as any other Virginian, as tribal citizens who are members of tribal nations based in Virginia.
Thank you. Delegate Simon, thank you for being here.
Of course. Did you all go over the committee substitute, Madam Chair?
The amendments.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
thank you.
That
Appreciate
was meant to clarify that this would only apply to undergraduate students. And also it was meant to clarify that tribes keep very careful tribal registries, and that any institution would have membership confirmed by the tribe. They do have bloodline descendants, so it's to clarify this would not apply to people who are adopted or married into a family. This would only be through bloodline. And it's really part of the Commission on updating Virginia law to reflect federal recognition of Virginia tribes. It was one of our recommendations. And it was passed unanimously by the members. And as you all may know, after Virginia's Racial Integrity Act of 1924 and during Jim Crow, it was very hard for Virginia tribal children to pursue education past middle school in Virginia. This caused so many families to relocate to other states like Pennsylvania so that their children could pursue further education. So this bill is very meaningful to our tribes because it really unites their members and it rights the historic wrongs that occurred during Jim Crow. So really, this bill is mostly a symbolic gesture because we know there are less than 20 students a year who graduate who are federally recognized tribal members who live out of state. And for all these reasons, I hope we can support the bill, and I'm hoping we're allowing a few comments from some of our special guests. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Delegate. And now the people who have testimony in favor of the bill.
Hi, yes, my name is Morgan Faulkner. I'm General Counsel for the Upper Mattaponi Tribe, and I also serve on the Tribal Code Commission. And I greatly am very thankful for the bill that's been put forth by the Tribal Code Commission because this has directly impacted my family. My mom was one of those students that went to Sharon Indian School. She was there until the 7th grade when she was able to go to King William High School once the school's integrated here in Virginia. She and her little sister were the first two Native students to go to the white high school in King William. And so thankfully she was able to complete her education and be a thriving member here in Virginia. She was a state employee for 42 years. She served on different boards and commissions in our community. And has lived her life making Virginia better. But not all of her cousins and family members had that same opportunity. Even our assistant chief had to travel outside of the area to complete her high school education. Students had to go to Bacone College in Oklahoma, and many students from my tribe in particular went to Pennsylvania just to be able to complete their education. And as life happens, they made their lives there, they got jobs, they got married, and while they maintain a very strong connection, they come and visit for all of our major events, and frequently they've never been able to come back home. And so what this bill would do is the restorative value that this has for the tribes is that it would help bring our kids home to get their education. Virginia has some of the finest schools in the United States. They could get their education, live here to build up our tribal communities, which we know in turn makes Virginia stronger overall. So I certainly hope that you all can support the bill. It's a low, I believe it would be a very, very low fiscal impact given the number of students that we're talking about per year. And it would really do a lot to directly right the wrong that was done at the hands of Virginia back when my mom was growing up. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your testimony. Anyone else in the audience? All right, I believe we have a couple of people online. Mr. Thomas Badamo?
Yes, thank you. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes,
Yes,
we
sir.
can hear you, sir.
Wonderful. Thank you for
Thank you for coming.
acknowledging me. My name is Thomas Badamo. I am also a member of the Code Commission and a member of the Nansemond Indian Nation. And I'm from the dais. I believe the number was misstated as 80 students per year. I believe it's 20 per year and was identified as 80 total over the next 4 years. That would be children from the 7 federal tribes that would come of age. I think I'm in favor of the bill, and I think in some small way, it begins to mitigate the very real harm that was caused by the Racial Integrity Act of 1924 that the General Assembly did not repeal until 2020. And so that act was largely what caused the diaspora that many of the tribes experienced, people leaving for education and for some of the other actions that came out of that Racial Integrity Act. And this is really a wonderful way to start to bring people back to their homeland. So I am in favor, and I thank you for your
Thank you
giving me
very
the
much
opportunity.
for coming to testify. We appreciate it, Mr. Madamo. Next, we have Jackson Martingale.
Good morning, Madam
Morning.
Chair and members of the commission, and of the committee. I just wanted to emphasize a couple things. The fiscal impact is not going to be 80 per year over the next 4 years. Again, that is 20 people graduating per year would be eligible. And the reason why the Department of Planning and Budget indicated on its fiscal impact statement that some responding institutions indicate that there would be no fiscal impact at all is because the impact is going to vary between universities. And it would not be correct to assume that every single person who is eligible for in-state tuition is going to take advantage of this, because theoretically they will also have in-state institution available or in-state tuition available at universities in their own states. So I just wanted to highlight that. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Is there anyone else to speak in favor of the bill? Have anyone to speak in opposition, either in the audience or online? I don't see anyone online. All right, back to the committee.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a statement and then make a motion if that would be appropriate.
Delegate Reed.
I am so grateful for Delegate Simons and the work that she has done on this, as well as the people that are testifying. And it's something that we have to come to grips with, but unfortunately, we have so many other we have a lot of needs right now that we're trying to grapple with here in the next week. And so I'm going to make a motion that we gently lay this on the table. We'll continue to evaluate it as the budget progresses, because we've got today through Friday to look at all of the fiscal impacts that are coming up. And then we can see if there's the possibility of reconsidering this as we get further into the budget process. So that would be my motion, Madam Chair.
All right. Motion has been made and properly second. All in favor can show their indication on the board. Thank you. Delegate Simons, your bill is tabled for the time being, and thank you so much for your work on this really important issue, and thank you for bringing it before us, and hopefully we'll see what we can do as we move along. Thank you.
The next bill, Madam Chair, is House Bill 404. This is Delegate Reed's bill.
Delegate Reed.
If Tony would like to just speak to it, and then, do we need to move the substitute?
No, it came
Okay.
as a substitute. So the bill that's before you essentially creates a work group to look at the program itself. And it also, as part of this, also stipulates that no cost of any of the scholarships from the program can be passed on to enrolled students in the form of increased tuition and fees. The bill has no fiscal impact. The program is already in effect. This is more of a, as I said, a work group and a clarifying piece of legislation.
All
Madam
right,
Chair, if
thank you.
possible, I move to report the bill.
Second.
All right, motion has been made, properly second. Clerk will please open the rolls. Thank you, Delegate Reed. HB 404 will be reported. Next, we have House Bill 417 by Delegate Guzman.
And there is a substitute before you.
Move
Madam-
substitute.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
So
All right.
So the substitute at this point basically puts the bill into posture of the same as a bill that you passed 4 years ago, passed out of the House 99-0. The only thing that it changes is currently this language is in code. It simply changes the 10-year requirement of filing returns to a 4-year requirement. So any impact is minimal. These are already Virginian residents, and it is simply just more of it reduces some of the administrative burden.
Madam Chair, I move to report the substitute.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Motion has been made, properly seconded. Clerk will please open the roll. Thank you. Thank you, Delegate Guzman. Your bill passes. All right, next we have,
The next bill, Madam Chair, is House Bill 1016, that's Delegate Tran's bill. The bill essentially asks for the creation of a list of common house plants that are toxic to cats and dogs.
Madam Chair, I move to report the bill.
Second.
all right. Motion has been made, properly second. Clerk will please open the roll. Delegate Tran's bill reports 7-0. Thank you. We have one bill remaining. HB 1497, Delegate Ward. Would you like to present your bill?
Good morning, Madam Chair, and members of the
Morning.
committee. This bill, House Bill 1497, simply restores Hampton University's 1862-1890 land grant status. In doing so, it was revoked back during Jim Crow. And with this restoration, it would allow Hampton University to be eligible to receive federal funding and participate in federal and state programs established through the Morrill Act. And that's the purpose of this bill.
Thank you, Delegate. Any questions, members of the committee? Have anyone in the audience to speak in favor of this bill? I don't have anybody online. Pro or against? All right.
Madam Chair, considering where we are with this particular piece of legislation, and I know that Delegate Ward has done a lot of work on this, I think that there's probably still more work to do. And so it's always great when we're at the beginning of a 2-year term because we can then carry over well-intentioned legislation like this and we can work on it through the summer. So I'd like to make a motion that we continue this until the 2027 session.
All right, second? All right, all in favor? Aye. I believe that's a voice vote, right? All right.
Aye.
Hi. Thank you so much, Delegate Ward,
Thank you
for
so
bringing this
much.
forth, and we look forward to continuing work.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Madam Chair.
Any other business to come before the committee? All right, committee shall rise.
Oh.